Welcome back. All right, so we're going to get the first board out of the way. It's between the second and third period between LA and San Jose, and I figure why not? Get this video done sooner and get it uploaded sooner when that game is done. All right, so starting things off, we're going to talk about Minnesota and Boston. I have talked for weeks now about how Boston isn't really playing a full 60-minute game, and that's true again tonight. Technically, it's almost a 63-minute game, but let's discuss. Fleury versus Ullmark. Grizzly gets shaken up on a hit. The shots are one apiece, 4 minutes in. We get a power play for the Wild. The Bruins prevented an early setup, but they would allow the power play goal. It's Johansson from Gaudreau and Goligoski at 7:44. He buries a rebound there to make it 1-0 for Minnesota. We get a fight between Dewar and Lauko. The Wild look to add one. Geeky's denied on a rush. And then it's Pastrnak scoring from Beecher at 11:29. Kaprizov nearly answers that to give the lead back to the Wild. But Frederick was denied. Fleury holds there. Lauko tried the Michigan. Absolutely did. Almost went. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4, and then in the last second of the first period, Pastrnak gives Boston the lead. Van Riemsdyk with the assist. So it's 2-1 Boston after the first. Second period, shots are 3-1 for the Wild at 3.5 minutes. We get a power play for Boston. That's killed off. Bruins go back to the power play. The Wild kill that one off as well. Bruins press at the half. Van Riemsdyk's denied from a sharp angle. Near miss by Coyle. Fleury really solid in this game. Bruins press to close. Gets kind of pushy at the horn, but it stays 2-1 Boston after 2. Third period, Boldy has a net feed. That's blocked. The shots are 2 apiece at 4 minutes. Geeky's denied. Fleury holds on there. The Wild press at 7.5 minutes. Middleton's denied and close. The Wild press with 7 minutes left, and eventually they score at 13-11. Kaprizov buries a rebound. Middleton in favor with the assists. The Wild press again with 5 minutes left. They score at 15-10. Hartman from Rossi in favor. So now the Bruins are down 3-2. They press to respond with 2:29 left. They draw a power play, and they score on it. It's Marchand from Geeky and McAvoy at 18:54. So we go to overtime, tied at 3. DeBrusque can't bury one. Pastrnak has a shot that's held. Boldy's denied on a break, and then on a rush of his own, Kaprizov scores at 2:54 from Eriksson Ek. So Kaprizov with a couple of goals in this one. And yeah, pretty good night for him. Not a great night for the Bruins. They lose this one 4-3 at home. The Wild go to 13-13-4 with the win. Boston drops to 19-5-6 with the overtime loss. Shots on net 9-7 Minnesota in the first, 16-7 Boston in the second, 18-12 Boston in the third. Both teams had 2 shots in the overtime. Final shots 43-30 for Boston. Power plays 1-for-1 for Minnesota, 1-for-3 for Boston. Hits 30-21 for Boston. Fleury 40 saves on 43 shots. Ullmark saved 26 out of 30 at the other end. So, entertaining game, sure, if you're a Wild fan. All right, next up, Columbus. What was this? So, obviously, there's 10 games on at the same time. This game, thankfully, was so lopsided. I was like, okay, this is one I can turn away from and watch everything else. So it's Tarasov versus Levi, and 30 seconds in, Buffalo scores to get the lead. It's Dahlin from Cousins and Middlestad, and then the Sabres look for another, so no indication of what's to come in this one. Cylinder has a chance that's held. The Sabres press at 9.5 minutes, but Gaudreau buries one from behind the net. Fantilli with the assist at 10:35. Sabres press with 8.5 minutes left, but Columbus would get the lead. Fantilli deflects one in off Levi. Gaudreau and Provorov with the assists at 14:39. Thompson has a wrister that's held with 56 seconds left. Columbus gets a power play, and they score on it. It is Marchenko from Gaudreau and Werenski. Between the legs goal. Absolutely ridiculous skill by Marchenko to pull that off. Made it 3-1. So we go to the second period. Early edge for Columbus. The shots are 4-3 in favor of the Blue Jackets at 6 minutes. And then Marchenko scores from Chinikov and Peak at 7:37. And in goes Luukkonen. How do they welcome Luukkonen? The natural hat trick is how. Marchenko from Chinikov and Provorov at 7:55. So that took 18 seconds. And then at 8:52, yep, less than a minute later, it's Goodbranson from Texier and Corrali. We then had a power play for Columbus. That's killed off, so there's that. But then Corrali scores from Texier and Gauntz at 12:27. So there's Brendan Gauntz in his first game of the year, and he's got a point. And that makes it 46-1, I think, for Columbus at that point. At 18:54, Okposo gets one back. He scores from Middlestad and Olofsson. 35 seconds left. The Sabres get a power play. So that rolls over into the third period. Columbus kills that off. Buffalo gets another power play. They score on this one. It's Tage Thompson from Dahlin and Tuck at 2:57. So makes it 7-3. Shots are 8-0 for the Sabres 5 minutes in. And at 7:51, they get another goal closer. It's Cousins from Benson and Middlestad. And, I mean, we've seen Columbus blow a 5-goal lead, right? So it can happen. However, at 8:30, Sillinger ends that kind of noise. Werenski and Johnson with the assists. And then at 10:59, Johnson scores from Sillinger and Bemstrom. So this is one that should have had the 80s magnet. I don't really have room for the 80s magnet. I do have the No Mercy magnet down here. So there's that. Your final score is 9-4 for Columbus. They go to 11, 17, and 5 with the win. For the Sabres, 13, 17, and 3. And I'm just going to stop talking about them getting it going because I don't think it's going to happen. Shots on net, 14-4 Columbus in the first, 14-13 Buffalo in the second, 11-7 Buffalo in the third. Final shots, 34-29 for Columbus. Power plays, Columbus 1 for 2, Buffalo 1 for 3. The hits, 20-12 Buffalo. Tarasov saves 25 out of 29. Levi saved 14 out of 18. Luukkonen saved 11 out of 16. I don't think it was the goaltenders, but you guys can let me know your thoughts. I think there was plenty of blame to go around for Buffalo tonight. And as far as I know, they haven't fired a coach. It does feel like this might be the time that we see that, but it's right before Christmas, right? You can't fire a coach right before Christmas. All right, next up. Vegas and the Carolina Hurricanes. And this was a big game for Carolina, and they played like it. So it's Thompson versus Kochetkov. The shots are 3-0 Vegas, 2.5 minutes in. Stahl has a net drive, that's blocked. Kochetkov poke checks Roy on his net drive. Get a power play for Vegas, that's killed off. And then the Canes get a turn on the power play, and they score on it. It's Svechnikov. I believe that's his first power play goal of the season. I know it's only his second goal. That's at 10:25 from Shea and Aho, but Vegas gets it back. Carrier roofs one in close. McNabb and Howden with the assists at 13:15. And then with 1:16 left, Vegas has a power play. So it's 1-1 after 1. Second period, the Canes finish the kill. There's pressure by Carolina at 1:30. And at 4:36 on a 3-on-2 rush, Stahl tips one in. Fost and Martinuk with the assists. And then at 10 minutes and 11 seconds, Kotkaniemi, screenshot from the left circle. Chatfield and Bunting with the assists. So suddenly it's a 3-1 lead for Carolina. Canes look for another. They end up getting a power play, and they score on it. At 12:38, it's Bunting bearing a rebound from the slot. Aho and Burns with the assists, and the rout is on. Vegas presses to respond. We get a power play for Vegas. That's killed off. Vegas has a 3-on-2. That's defended. So we go to the third period with the score 4-1 Carolina. There's a power play in the third period. 4 seconds in, and 6 seconds later at 10 seconds, Carolina scores. It's Jarvis from Bunting and Aho with the one-timer. Canes look for another, and at 4:44 they find it. It's a turnover, and Shea roofs it. Patera's in the net now for Vegas. Late in the game, Vegas does get a couple. Haig scores from Stone and Eichel at 18:36, and then at 19:28, Carrier gets his second of the game from Howden and Amadio. But yeah, 6-3 win for Carolina. They go to 17-12-3 with the win. Vegas drops to 21-7-5 with the loss. Shots on net, 13-12 Vegas in the first, 11-10 Carolina in the second, and 15-10 Carolina in the third. Final shots, 38-33 for the Canes. Power plays, 0-4 for Vegas. Carolina scored on all 3 of theirs. Hits, 16-12 Vegas. Thompson saved 22 out of 28, and then Patera saved all 10 in relief. Kochetkov saves 30 out of 33 at the other end. But yeah, pretty impressive win for the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. Next up, Philadelphia, New Jersey. So how about those Flyers? Ersson versus Vanacek in this one. Devils had the lone shot 3 minutes in. Flyers are causing turnovers. There's a 3-on-2 by the Flyers that's broken up. New Jersey opens the scoring at 14:15. It's McLeod from Bastian and Lazar. Devils press with 3.5 minutes left, and this was easily the fastest game tonight. At least through the first period, it was much faster than the other games that started. There were 6 that started at 4 o'clock. This one was done way earlier. So it's 1-0 New Jersey after 1. Second period, early jump for the Flyers, and they would score. It's a turnover, it's buried, it's Paling from Farabee at 1 minute and 10 seconds. Flyers press for the lead, but we get a power play for the Devils, and they score on it. It's Jesper Bratt from Heischer and Jack Hughes at 2:42. He buries a rebound there, and that gives New Jersey the lead back. The Devils would press at 6.5 minutes, and Paling would tie it again. He scores from Konechny and Sanheim at 8:19. We then get a power play for the Flyers. That's killed off, but they get another. Their power play isn't any good. So that was killed off too. The Flyers press with 1.5 minutes left, but it's 2-2 after 2. Imagine how good the record would be if their power play wasn't terrible. Third period, early press by the Devils. Frost has a rush chance, that's defended. Flyers have a 2-on-1, that's broken up. Luke Hughes has a blast that's held. Things get pushy on a hold by Ersson. Shots are 5-1 for the Devils, 6.5 minutes in. We get a power play for the Flyers, but it's trash, so it's killed off. Tippett's denied on a rush, and we're going to overtime. In the overtime, Farabee's denied on a 2-on-1. Jack Hughes was then denied. Big saves both ways, and then it's a turnover, and Tippett buries it at 3:25. The Flyers go into New Jersey and beat them 3-2 in overtime. They go to 18-10-3 with the win. For New Jersey, 16-12-2 with the overtime loss. Shots on net, 7-4 Philly in the first, 12-9 Philly in the second, 10-4 New Jersey in the third. In the overtime, both teams had 3 shots. Your final shots, 26 for each team. Power plays 0-for-3 for Philly, 1-for-1 for New Jersey. And the hits 28-25 in favor of the Philadelphia Flyers. Ersson saves 24 out of 26. Vanacek saved 23 out of 26 at the other end. And so for New Jersey, they get the point. For Philly, they get 2. And last game on this board, St. Louis and Tampa. So I wore Tampa this morning. Turned out that was all right. That was a good idea. So Binnington versus Vasilevsky, and at 2:23, Asimont, a puck deflects in off of him. It was an oops by Binnington that helped set this up. Jeannot and Fleury with the assists, and the review says good goal. And it wasn't a challenge, so there's no power play coming out of it. Shots are 4-0 Tampa Bay, 4 minutes in. Tampa Bay presses 7 minutes in. We get a power play for Tampa. That's killed off. Blues press at the half. We get a power play for St. Louis. That's killed off by Tampa. And then Tyler Mott gets his second goal. He scores from Sherry and Stamkos at 17-10. And then from the high slot through a partial screen, Kucherov scores from point and Paul at 19:46. So it's 3-0 Tampa, which means we get some pushing at the horn. St. Louis not very happy. So we go to the second period. Kucherov would score from Perbix and Paul at 1:35. Sundqvist then has a net feed. That's picked off. We get a power play for Tampa Bay. That's killed off. Shots are 7-6 for the Blues at the half, but the Bolts get some pressure, and they score again. It's Fleury from Stamkos and Hagel at 12:13. That ends the night for Binnington. Hofer's in the net. Blues press with 5.5 minutes left, but honestly, the score is 5-0 after 2. Third period, Blues, they have a full power play to start. That's killed off. Shots are 1 apiece, 3.5 minutes in. Vasilevsky guilty of a turnover, and his defense bails him out there. Bolts press at 6.5 minutes. We get a power play for Tampa Bay, and they score on it. It's Paul from Stamkos and Hedman at 7:53. Blues press to respond. Things get punchy with 5:29 left. The Blues come out of that with a power play. They do score on it to break the shutout. Falk from Neighbors and Hayes at 15:55. That's as close as St. Louis gets. Your final score is 6-1. No mercy magnets down here. And Tampa Bay goes to 15-13-5 on the season. St. Louis 15-15-1 with the loss. Shots on net 14-5 Tampa in the first. 13-10 St. Louis in the second. 11-9 St. Louis in the third. Final shots 33-29 for Tampa. Power plays, both teams go 1-for-3. The hits 16-13 for St. Louis. Binnington saves 18 out of 23. Hofer saved 9 out of 10. And at the other end, Vasilevsky saves 28 out of 29. So, that being said, I need to change boards. Okay, so we're after the third period. Game is done. No overtime in San Jose. Thank you. So, our Rangers in Toronto tonight. Shesterkin versus Jones. So, will the storyline tomorrow be that the starting goalie needs to be Samsonov? Or I don't know. It's Toronto. So, early press by the Leafs. Fox then has a shot that's kicked aside. Shots are 1 apiece at 2.5 minutes. The Rangers press 6 minutes in. And, yeah, Jones had a good start. He's the reason why this is scoreless at that point. Bertuzzi has a near miss at the half. And has a near miss as Toronto's pressing. The shots are 6-3 for the Rangers at the half. Schneider's denied as the Rangers press, but yeah, that first period, a lot of shots for the Rangers, comparatively speaking with Toronto. Jones did well. Second period, shots are 2-1 Leafs at 2.5 minutes, so better start for them. Lindgren gets cut by a New York Rangers stick. Riley has a shot that's held, but at 6:11, Zibanejad scores from Wheeler and Kreider. The New York Rangers coming in tonight 14-2-1 when they score first. So it doesn't bode well. The Rangers press for another, but at 7:32, Matthews, who's been red hot, scores from Riley and Bertuzzi. We then get a power play for the Rangers, though, and they score on that. It's Lafreniere, so I guess they watched my video earlier. Brodzinski and Gustafsson with the assists at 9:50. I mentioned he only had 2 power play points. Now he has 3. The Rangers press with 8.5 minutes left. The Leafs get some pressure with 4.5 minutes left. VC has a rush chance. That deflects out. It's 2-1 Rangers after 2. Third period, at 1 minute and 16 seconds, Matthews gets the second of the game. Nyes and Nylander with the assists. Shots are 5-2 in favor of the Rangers, though, at 5.5 minutes, and eventually they get one. At 8:08, it's Schneider with his first in a while. Gustafsson and Wheeler with the assists. That one's a 5-hole chance on a net drive. Teams exchange rushes with 6:18 left. The Rangers get a power play, and they score on it because it's a Rangers power play. Panarin from Gustafsson and Trocheck at 15:08, and that one goes in off Lagus and Skate. Hey, you got to be lucky to be good. Goalie pull happens with 4:24 left, and at 16:47, Zibanejad hits the empty net. Lindgren and Kreider with the assists. Your final score is 5-2 for the Rangers. They go to 22-7-1 on the season, whereas the Leafs drop to 16-7-6. Shots on net, 11-5, Rangers in the first, 17-14, Toronto in the second. Both teams had 11 shots in the third. Final shots, 36-33 for the Rangers. Power plays, the Rangers go 2 for 2 in Toronto. There weren't any. Hits, 36-20 for the Rangers. Shesterkin, good start for him, 31 saves on 33 shots. Jones, 31 saves on 35 shots. So, at any rate, yeah, the Rangers get the win tonight. Big win for them. All right, next up, the Oilers and the Islanders. So the Oilers went on a bit of a run, and now they're on a run the other way, and they have to turn this around. So it's Skinner versus Sorokin, and at 1:23 on their first shot, the Oilers score. It's Draisaitl from Foegele and Ekholm. He wires it on the rush, and things seem exciting. Shots are 2-0 for the Oilers actually at 5 minutes. The Islanders didn't start on time. There's a post for Connor Brown on a tip chance. Then there's a near miss for McDavid as they press. We get a power play for the Oilers. The Islanders did a good job of blocking, and they do kill that off. Nelson then has a wraparound that saved. Pajot's denied. The Oilers rush. Barzal's robbed on a breakaway. The Isles press to close it, but it's 1-0 Oilers after one. Second period, the Islanders, they draw themselves a power play, and Anders Lee tips in a loose puck on the power play at 2:39 from Palmieri and Barzal. It's a 1-1 tie. The Oilers press to respond. Janmark has a rush chance. That's blocked out. Gagne has a net drive. That's held. Brown fires one wide on a 2-on-1. So Connor Brown's generating some opportunities. The Islanders go back to the power play, though, and they score on this one as well. Horvat, tic-tac-toe goal. Nelson and Dobson with the assists at 11:30. Bo Horvat's been red hot recently. Not much room for the Oilers, but the Oilers would get a power play, so that leads to a shorthanded goal. Holmstrom with his 5th of the season already. And I mean 5th shorthanded goal. Pajot with the assist at 14:10. That's on a rush. Then there was a shorthanded 2-on-1 that was defended. We end up with 58 seconds of 5-on-3 for the Oilers. But everything gets killed off. Nurse has a shot after that's saved. The Oilers press with a minute and a half left with 19.1 seconds left. The Islanders with a power play. So it's 3-1 after 2. And the Islanders with a power play going into the third, where the Oilers do finish the kill. Things get pushy on a hole by Sorokin. The shots are 3-1 for the Oilers at 3 minutes. The Oilers press. The Islanders block. Holmstrom hits the side of the net. We get a power play for the Oilers. That's killed off. The goalie pull happens with more than 5 minutes left. But with 3:08 left, the Islanders get a power play. So the Oilers kill that off, but they run out of time. Your final score is 3-1. The Islanders go to 15-8-8 on the season. The Oilers 13-15-1 with the loss. Shots on net, 9-7 Islanders in the first, 9 apiece in the second. 15-3 for the Oilers in the third. Final shots 31-21 for the Oilers. Power plays, the Oilers 0 for 4, the Islanders 2 for 4. The hits, 25-9 for the Islanders. Skinner saved 18 out of 21. Sorokin, he allowed a goal in the first shot, and then he saved 30 in a row after that. So really good showing for Sorokin tonight. Not really a surprise. He's an excellent goaltender. All right, next up, Vancouver and Nashville. So, again, it's a lot of games on at the same time tonight, so did my best. DeSmith versus Saros in this one. We get a power play for the Preds. It becomes 19 seconds of 4-on-4, and then a Canucks power play. Miller has a shot that's kicked aside. Everything's killed off, and then Suter fans on one. There's a shoulder save on a Besser chance. The shots are 6-5 for the Canucks with 7.5 minutes left, and it's 16:38. Pettersson scores from Mikheyev and Suter. That one's on a rush and scored blocker side. And then seconds later at 17:09, Amon scores one on a turnover. It's a one-timer from in close. Not much chance for Saros there. Suddenly it's 2-0 Vancouver. With 13 seconds left, the Canucks draw a power play, so that rolls over into the second period. The Canucks up 2-0. The Preds finish the kill. They had to. Novak has a rush chance that's saved. The ref is told that he sucks on what they believe was a missed call. Pressed by Nashville at 4.5 minutes. Pressed by Nashville again at 6 minutes. And there was a lot of momentum for Nashville here. DeSmith made some nice saves. Forsberg's denied on a net drive. The shots are 6-3 Nashville with 9 minutes left. The Canucks had a 4-on-3 that misfires. And then Lauzon gets the Nashville Predators on the board. He scores from Evangelista and Novak at 14:23. The Canucks get that right back 15 seconds later. It's Höglander from Hughes and Hronek. And then less than a minute later, 15-24, Suter makes up for fanning on one earlier. He scores from Mikheyev and Pettersson. With 51 seconds left, there's too many Nashville Predators on the ice. And so that rolls over into the third period. Hronek fires one wide, and then just after the kill ends at 1:16, Teddy Bluger scores from Quinn Hughes. So Hughes with a couple of helpers tonight. That makes it 5-1 for Vancouver. Lankinen was in the net at that point. There's a press by Nashville, 2.5 minutes. Not that they got shots out of it. In fact, the shots are 7-0 Vancouver 5 minutes in. Fans call one. The referee doesn't. There's too many Canucks on the ice shortly thereafter, so Nashville does get a power play. Yossi has a net feed that's kind of held. They got a whistle out of it. Wasn't held, but kind of. So, yeah, that power play ends up being killed off. Nashville presses after. Eventually, they get a goal, but very late. 19:48, it's Glass on a rush from Cole Smith. And so that makes it 5-2. That's your final score. Vancouver 22-9-2 on the season. So now they're 13 games above 500. Nashville 18-14 with the loss. Shots on net 10-7 Vancouver in the first, 11 apiece in the second, 14-10 Vancouver in the third. Final shots 35-28 for the Canucks. Power plays 0-3 for Vancouver, 0-2 for Nashville. The hits 23-18 for Nashville. DeSmith saved 26 out of 28. It's another strong start for him in relief of Demko. Gets Demko more nights off. Saros saved 19 out of 24, and then he sat down, and Lankinen saved all 11 shots he faced in relief. So, yeah, pretty big game for Vancouver on the road. Next up, Colorado and Chicago. This is baffling. After the game, Devon Toews said that there's players on the team who think they're playing well that aren't, and this game kind of showed it. So the Avs are having problems. They're now 4-5-2 in their last 11. So it's Georgiev versus Mrazek. Early jump for the Avs. The Avs press at 3 minutes, but Chicago would open the scoring. Donato buries a loose puck. It's only the second shot on net for Chicago, and he gets that one from Zaitsev and Bedard at 7:20. So Connor Bedard's starting to rack up some assists. We then get a power play for the Avs, and they score on it. At 9:22, it's Nichushkin from Drouin and McKinnon, and then the Avs go right back to the power play. So I believe it was Wood that came out of the box and went right back to the box, lipped the referee off, and there you go. And then Nichushkin scores again on the power play at 11:25. Rantanen and Malinsky with the assists. So if you were of the mind that, well, that's it, Colorado's going to roll, that's what I thought too. But on their third shot, Chicago ties it. It's Reichel from Bedard and Donato at 12:56. Tyler Johnson then has a chance that's held. It's tied at 2 after 1. Second period. Murphy has a shot that's kicked aside. The shots are 5-1 for the Hawks at 5 minutes. We get a power play for Chicago. That's killed off. Then we get a power play for the Avalanche. Rantanen's denied. They cycle. That power play is killed off. Hawks clear after. Avs press with 6 minutes left. Beauvillier then fires one high on a 3-on-1 chance. Wood fires one wide from the slot with 3:01 left. The Hawks get a power play. The Avs kill that off as well. So we go to the third period with the score still tied at 2. Hawks have a 4-on-2. That's defended. Kiviranta's denied and close. The shots are 3-0 for the Avs at 3 minutes. Power play for Chicago. That's killed off. Hawks press at 6.5 minutes. The Hawks end up going back to the power play. They score on this one. Tyler Johnson from Foligno and Zaitsev at 8:19. It's a tic-tac-toe play. And Bedard set it up. It's just you don't have third assists. So nice play by Bedard to set that up. Suddenly Chicago has an improbable 3-2 lead on the Colorado Avalanche. So the Hawks go back to the power play. Toews is denied. Rebounds cleared. Hawks press with... That power play is killed off, by the way. Toews is denied. The rebounds cleared. The Hawks press. There's 4 minutes left. The goalie pull happens with 2 minutes left with 53.3 seconds left. The Avs call a timeout. There's a glove save and hold on Rantanen, and things get punchy on that. So with the punching after that, the Hawks have a power play to end the game. They win this one 3-2. The Avs kind of a bit of a meltdown there towards the end. They drop to 19-11-2 with the loss. Chicago 10-20-1. They do have double-digit wins now. Shots on net 12-8 Colorado in the first, 13-11 Colorado in the second, 12-3 Colorado in the third. Final shots are 37-22 for the Avs. Power plays 2 for 3 for Colorado, 1 for 6 for Chicago. The hits 23-14 for the Hawks. Georgiev saved 18 out of 21, and at the other end, Mrazek saves 35 out of 37. Should be 19 out of 22 for Georgiev, but you guys know. But Mrazek was fantastic throughout this game and kind of steals one against the Avs, who really needed this win. When you're against Chicago, you need to rack up those 2 points. All right, next up, last one on this board, the Ottawa Senators in against the Arizona Coyotes. And this was very one-sided, and then suddenly stuff happens. So it's the first game behind the bench for Jacques Martin, and he got a first row seat to what DJ Smith's been seeing all year. Very inconsistent results with the Sens, even in game. So Korpisalo versus Ingram, the shots are 4-2 for the Coyotes, 4 minutes in. But on their third shot, the Sens score. It's Cruikshank, his first NHL goal, Zub and Sanderson at 4:09. Sens press 6 minutes in. We get a power play for the Coyotes. That's killed off. Sens then get a power play and they score on theirs. It's Josh Norris scoring from Sanderson and Stützle at 13:06. And then they score again. It's Kubalik from Brandstrom at 14:19. That ends the night for Connor Ingram. Vejmelka is in the net. With 56 seconds left, I should say, the Sens get a power play. So that rolls over into the third period. They have a power play. They're up by 3 after the first. However, Coyotes finish the kill. Kerfoot has a rush. That's defended. Korpisalo then denies Kerfoot later on. Shots are 3-1 Ottawa at 6 minutes. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Stützle is denied on a rush. The teams exchange rushes after that. Chychrun has a blast that's held. There was only 1 shot for the Coyotes halfway through the period, so only 14 shots for the Coyotes through the first half of the game. Yeah, they did pretty good, as well as in terms of basically generating shots and chances after that. So power play for the Coyotes. It's killed off, but shortly after, McBain scores to open the scoring for Arizona from Cooley and Carconi at 14:10. He buries that one in close. Coyotes press with 1.5 minutes left, but it's 3-1 for Ottawa after 2. Third period. Norris has a rush that deflects out. The Coyotes had the only shot on net 2.5 minutes in. Sens are blocking out the net okay, but the dislike starts ramping up and the effort from the Coyotes gets better. Batherson's denied and close. The Sens press at 6.5 minutes. Then there's a blocker save on Dumba. Puck's cleared out. But during that same shift at 9:14, Mosier scores from Michelli and Dumba. The Sens wanted a call on that play. They did not get it. They believed there was a cross-check thrown on the play. And then to make it worse, at 9:47, Keller scores one that you wanted to save from Korpisalo. He caught Korpisalo cheating. Ties the game from Stetcher and Kerfoot. So within 33 seconds, the game goes from 3-1 to 3-3 because it's the Sens. So the Coyotes press for the lead. Stetcher has a rush chance that's held. And eventually, at 16:27, Kesselring gets one that goes in off Hamannik's skate. So he scores from McBain and Carconi. Suddenly, it is a 4-3 lead for the Coyotes. The goalie pull happens with 1 minute and 40 seconds left. The Sens can't get the tying goal. Your final score is 4-3 for the Coyotes. They're 16-13-2 on the season. Ottawa 11-16. It's another loss. They can't afford it, but here we are. Shots on net 13-7 Arizona in the first, 13-9 Arizona in the third. In first, it's 13-7, 13-9 in the second for Arizona, 12-6 Arizona in the third. Final shots 38-22 for the Coyotes. So they outplayed them all the way through. It's just Korpisalo was doing a very good job, and then things kind of fell apart in the Ottawa end in the third period. Power plays, Ottawa 1 for 2, Arizona 0 for 2. The hits 26-25 for the Coyotes. Korpisalo 34 saves on 38 shots. Ingram saved 3 out of 6, and then Vejmelka perfect in relief, 16 saves on 16 shots. So that being said, I have to change boards for the one more game tonight. All right, LA and the Sharks. So it's Riddick versus Kähkönen. Riddick reminding people that, yeah, he can be a decent goaltender in the NHL, didn't he? So good early back and forth. Grundstrom has a shot that deflects out. The shots are 2-1 for the Kings, 4.5 minutes in. Pretty low event first half. I could try dressing it up, but I can't. Kings press with 8.5 minutes left. Ferraro gets denied from the slot. 3:27 left. The Kings with a power play. Fiala gets denied, and then Kopitar doesn't. He buries one in close. Kaliev and Fiala with the assists at 17:46. Fiala to Danault gets picked off. The Kings press to close it out, and then there's some pushing and shoving back and forth. So, after the first period, it's 1-0 for the Kings. Second period, early press by the Sharks. They press again at 3 minutes. Not that they're getting a lot of shots. The shots are 1 apiece 4 minutes in. And then more. Scores at 4:07 from Fiala and Danault. And then, just for fun, why not have another one go in? At 5:14, it's Laferriere deflecting one in. Spence and Kopitar had the assists on that one, so Kopitar with the goal and an assist already, and it's 3-0 for the Kings. We get a power play for the Sharks. Zetterlund to Eklund, there's a near miss there. That power play's killed off. Ferraro is denied. Riddick holds there. We get a power play for the Sharks. That's killed off as well. Kopitar to Byfield, there's a near miss there. Doughty has a shot that's held as the Kings press. It's 3-0 after 2, and yeah, I already had the records at the top of the board. I knew San Jose wasn't scoring 4. Shots are 2-1 for the Kings at 2.5 minutes. Anderson prevents a Sharks goal. Sharks fans felt that he closed his hand on the puck, or just because he touched the puck in the crease. You can touch the puck in the crease, you can't cover it, and he didn't. He swept it out. So Duclair to Zetterlund near miss. The ref is told that he sucks, because that's what you do, because of the play where Anderson sweeps the puck away from the line. It was right on the line, too. Moore has a rush chance, that's held. Roy has a net drive, that saved. The Sharks press at 6.5 minutes, but they're kept to the outside. Kings did a very good job of protecting their net all the way through. Byfield has a rush chance, that saved. 7:12 left. The Kings with a power play. There's a post for Zetterlund on a shorthanded turnover. Kempe's denied. That power play's killed off. The Kings press after it ends. Doughty has a blast kicked aside with 2:47 left. Sharks with a power play, and they immediately pull the goalie to make it a 6-on-4. And that leads to an empty net goal. Lewis scoring from Lizotte at 18:12. To their credit, they do break the shutout at 18:41. McDonald from LeBanc and Zadina makes it 4-1, which leads to Riddick after the game shrugging that he lost the shutout. It's not a big deal. He gets the win. Final score is 4-1. The Kings are the first team in NHL history to win 13 out of their first 15 on the road. They're 18-6-4 on the season, and for San Jose, 9-20-3. And so I think they're back to 13 points back of a playoff spot. Yeah, the Sharks, they had their run, and it feels like now they're back into a downbeat here. Shots on net favored LA the whole way through. It's not close. 12-5 in the first, 11-4 in the second, 14-6 in the third. Final shots 37-15 for LA. So even if they'd called a penalty on that glove, it wouldn't have mattered. Power plays 1 for 2 for LA, 1 for 3 for San Jose. The hits were only 8-5 for LA. Not a lot of hate in this game for a matchup between two California teams. Riddick saves 14 out of 15. Kakinen had a good game, 33 saves on 36 shots. Just the team in front of him didn't. So there you go. You guys are all caught up. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you've not done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.